This so good should be illegal. I need round two, I need the sequel. Hit that back but like a free throw. Got me singing like Alicia. It's so deep, you hit the seat flow. Got me singing all your lingo. Tell your girlfriend that you're single.
Hey guys, welcome back for another Friday Feels with Lonnie. As with the last two Fridays, what we do here is review the music that just dropped at midnight. And y'all know how excited I was for today's video because my girl KEHLANI dropped her new project. I've been a KEHLANI fan since Cloud 19. You Should Be Here, Sweet Sexy Savage. I actually met her and she hugged me, so we're friends in my head. And now for her second studio album, It Was Good Until It Wasn't. And babe, it was great. Okay, I've literally been playing it since last night, like over and over and over and over again. Like I know the words. Like, it was a masterpiece in my opinion, and you really can't tell me otherwise. She is one of my top 3 artists, and baby, she's not 3. Okay, so let's just jump right into the project because like I said, I was so excited for this. The first song on the album is Toxic. 10 out of 10. What can I say? And honestly, it's not even because I'm a KEHLANI stan. It's just a quality song. The moment it hit all platforms, I was playing it on Snapchat, my Instagram story, talking about it on Twitter. Like, I just would not stop. It gives you such like dark grown sexy club vibes. But also, if you've seen the Toxic video, which if you haven't, please go watch that. It's great. It's a different side of her that I feel like we don't really get to see that often as fans or as an audience, and I loved it. The creativity, just the switches between scenes and outfits, I'm like, ooh, I like this KEHLANI. And to like start off the album with this, I think it sets the tone for the entire album itself and the whole feel that you're going to get through each of the tracks, which I feel like was very, very consistent. It sets this like mature, she's in a different chapter of her life. You can tell that she's been through some things. There's progress that's been made emotionally and mentally and spiritually. So I was here for the whole song. The next one on there is going to be Can I, featuring Tory Lanez. 9 out of 10 for me. Like, again, banger after banger. Instantly reminded me of RGB with, I want to say Bryson Tiller. 6 Black. There we go. So sorry. So instantly reminded me of RGB with 6 Black, and I love RGB, but it's more of like this sexy hard R&B sound. The lyrics are very grown. The sample, how perfect. I'm a big Aaliyah stan. I have her greatest hits on CD for all of you kids who don't even know what that is. Little disc to pop into the car. Okay, my mom put me onto her and I've been an Aaliyah fan ever since. So hearing that sample and song for me was like, loved it, loved it, loved it. I loved how Tory jumped in. His lyrics were on point. The flow was great throughout the whole song. And honestly, like, this is for the grown girls out there. Can I is really like that jam that I feel like you can sing with your girls because it makes you feel like you're a baddie, and who can tell you otherwise. The next song was Bad News. Now, when I read the actual album description that's on Apple Music, I thought Bad News was going to be like a very sad song. It was talking about her father dying due to gang-related issues, so sorry. And I'm thinking like, oh, this is about to be like a downer, and like, I don't really know if that's what I want to hear after Can I. It was not. Bad News, honestly, the feels that it gives me is like, I can imagine her rapping this in a red studio with like backup dancers. It's like very sad 90s R&B pop though, so you don't necessarily get emotional. Great song. The lyrics are spot on. They show like this kind of pain that she's went through in the situation with this person that I feel like regardless of if your situation is exactly the same, anybody who's been through a very harrowing relationship, there we go, can relate. So 9 out of 10 for that one. Next up was the Skit. It's a 4 out of 10, and just because I feel like on any album for any artist, skits are totally unnecessary, except for when you have like Tory Lanez and he does his chicks tapes, in which case you need those skits because the skits help him tell the whole story for the album. I just felt like the skit with Meg wasn't necessary, and I'm a big Meg fan. I'm a real hot girl, but the skit could have been left off in my opinion. So 4 out of 10 for that. Not because the skit is bad, but just because I don't feel like it belongs. Next was Water. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. I've literally at this point taken about 50 snaps where I'm singing the lyrics word for word because that song, wow. This song reminds me of like dancing in the ocean, which is going to sound so weird, but I'm going to paint the picture for you guys. Like, if you remember the Beyonce and Shakira video where they're like dancing in a body full of water kind of at their feet, and they're giving you all the like, Beyonce, I, Shakira, I. That's what this gives me at the beginning. Listen, the flow on this was absolutely amazing. It gives me like grown, sexy, confident Kehlani, like come on, what's up? What's poppin'? What do you want to do here? And I absolutely love that coming from her. It gives me like I'm a boss and it is what it is, and you're either gonna like it, love it, or leave it. And let me just tell you, the girls love it. So that is going to be a 10 out of 10 for me. Again, I've been like listening to it over and over and over. Next was Change Your Life. 10 out of 10. Just the intro, the way, like the flow at the beginning, you know, repeat, 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 boom.
Let me change your life.
Change it, please. I'm asking you to. Like, please change my life, Kehlani. I would highly appreciate that. It's very like pop hip hop. I can see the video, like if she were to shoot a video for it, being like shot in a back alley somewhere, like, you know, like the back alleys that they have in Cali. If you've ever seen Euphoria, you know what I'm talking about, like where the scene where Rue is running through this, like, I guess they call them back alleys. I'm not really sure. We don't have many of them in New York. But dancing with like one guy in a back alley to this kind of, and when it switches to Janae's part, I definitely like see it like being all soft and flowy. I think using Janae on a song like this was absolutely perfect. The softness of her voice and her general vibe for Janae fans really fit with the theme of the song. So I'm really glad that they did this collab, and I never knew that them on a song together was something that I needed until I heard it. Like, it reminds me of like a Cali street fair in the summer, or like a carnival. I don't know why. I just see Euphoria all in my head when I hear this song. So if you haven't seen Euphoria, watch that, by the way, and you'll definitely understand what I'm saying. This should definitely be in the soundtrack. HBO, if you're listening, call my girl Kehlani, please and thank you. Next was Belongs to the Streets. I'm not even going to rate this because, like I said, I feel like skits have no place in an album. It's kind of just like an unnecessary track for me. Like, if it came on, I'd be like, okay, like what's next? So I'm not even going to rate that. It's cool or whatever. Like, I like the talking in it because I like the conversation that they're having. She does make a really good point. Like, people always feel the need to comment on situations that have nothing to do with them. And one of the guys in there was basically just like, okay, but like you put it in our face. And again, just because something's in your face doesn't mean you have to speak on it. So cool skit, doesn't belong on the album. Next is going to be Everybody's Business. 9 out of 10 for me. I ain't never been a half-ass lover. Half-ass lover. There we go. And big facts, okay? I love this because she's literally just putting her heart on the page. Like, I'm down from day one. It is what it is. You're never going to change that about me. You're never going to make me feel bad for being this kind of person. And I think that's a really, really beautiful message, because I think some people are so quick to judge someone like that and be like, oh, well, like, you know, you should lock your heart up, da da da. It's like, why? Like, if that's just who you are, wear your heart on your sleeve and do it proudly. So I really love it. I could see like black ballerinas, by the way. Sorry if you don't like that. It's the truth. I can see black ballerinas like dancing to this, white background, like skin colored leotards, like, you know, the hip hop ballerinas, they'd be like, ballet. I can see it. I think would actually be really, really beautiful for the video. It just takes a different feel compared to the other songs. It's very like personalized and a softer side of her through all of this, through this, you know, grown and sexy, confident boss chick. Then you get like the softer side of her, which I think is a nice contrast, and it transitioned into it very, very well for me on the album in the order of the songs. So 9 out of 10. Then we have Hate the Club. 9 out of 10 for me. I like the picture that I'm getting here. I'm getting like, you know, she's cute, she's dressed up, but it's in slow-mo. I say, you know, think of like late 90s videos where the screen flips back and forth between different scenes. Like, you see her getting dressed up and ready to go to the club, then you see them together, like recaps of their relationship, because she's talking about how like she misses this person and she doesn't even want to go out because she's afraid that she's going to see him and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like a lot of people have been through that kind of situation where you're afraid of like seeing your ex in public because it's gonna be like awkward or uncomfortable, or you're just not ready to face them in the real world. So I definitely love Hate the Club. I've played that several times before. I think the drums and the sax and the piano, it creates like this very warm and like filling kind of beat behind the actual lyrics, which like really drags you in and holds you there. Serial Lover, 10 out of 10. I agree with the first verse wholeheartedly. Please go listen. I think it's best that I'm single. Yeah, girl, I can agree. I see like a pop all-girl group dancing to this in my head. It gives me very fun hip-hop vibe. She's basically just like, look, I hop around from relationship to relationship. It's kind of just who I am. Maybe it's time for me to take a break. And I respect that. If you're a Kehlani fan, you know through all the relationship drama she's gone through secondhand at that. Let's just make sure we emphasize that. We only know secondhand based off of what we see in the media, but still we know enough about her like love life to see that like she's been in a few relationships in a short amount of time. So I definitely understood Serial Lover. F and MU, 9 out of 10 for me. I love the beat. It gives me like a summer vibe. Plus like the video was perfect for the sound, honestly. Like however she came up with that in her head, I think it was a perfect fit for the actual song. I love the way like she's explaining how she's like an adult, but she's still messy. Like we gonna be grown, but yeah, like our relationship is toxic and messy, and it is what it is. I like it. It's fun, it's lighthearted. So I was all here for that. The next one is Can You Blame Me featuring Lucky Daye. I love Lucky Daye. I listen to a lot of his music. I think he has a beautiful voice. I love how the song actually begins with like this lo-fi feel or whatever. KEHLANIs verse, just like, yes please, because I feel like it's like you're being pressed, like it's zoning in on you, and then the beat switches up and Lucky comes in and his verse is just as good. Overall, it's great. It's not necessarily a fave, but the song is great. It's something that I could listen to, but I don't know if I would necessarily pick it 24/7. So just a 9 out of 10 for me, or 8 out of 10, whatever I first said. I can't remember, sorry. Grieving, 8 out of 10 for me. It pulls me in. It gives me this very like R&B pop feel. It feels very jazzy and bluesy, which is not a word, but we're gonna use it here. Like I'm getting Crunk in the Rain, like what's that movie, Stomp the Yard? Like
Yeah.
don't ever, let's never relive that. But still, that's the feel that it gives me. I'm neutral about James Blake's part because I love him as a singer. I think he has amazing vocals. I don't think his sound was right for the track. So it has to stay at an 8 out of 10, but I just don't think that his sound and his voice was right for this track. I don't really see him singing in the R&B and hip hop world. So I think it really threw me off because the song itself is so beautiful. And she's basically just asking people like, give her space. Like she just got out of a relationship. She needs time to herself. She needs time to get over the actual relationship, back up. And when he started, I was like,
Okay, I got it.
don't love it, but I get it. So it is what it is. Then we have Open. Now, here's the thing about Open. I had to listen to this several times before I actually started to like it. I think when I first heard it, I'm just like, ooh, I don't like Open. I like Passion more so, like the second half of the song. Then I listened to it again and I really sat down and listened to the lyrics and I'm like, oh, girl, I feel that, because she's basically just talking about like, can I trust you when I'm far away from you? And can you trust me? If I did what you did, would you be cool with it? And she's just going back and forth between like all these scenarios that are running through her head. And I'm like, I feel you. I feel like anyone has been there with any kind of situation in life. Like you just don't know what's going to happen when you're gone. So it leaves you with all these questions in your head. So I actually really love Open now. And then it transitions into Passion, which is like this summer night kind of feel, like chilling in a parking lot, drinking wine slushies with your friends and just like vibing out. So I really, really love the transition between the two. And I think as a whole, they like make for a really, really good song and tell a really, really great story. So while I first rated it a 7 out of 10 when I listened to it earlier, like I said, I've been listening to the album all day. And now for me, Open and Passion, are going to be a 10 out of 10. Quality song. I suggest you listen to it if you haven't. And lastly on the album, it's going to be Lexi's Outro. I've never heard Lexi's music. You know, I know she passed sometime this year, which I'm really sorry for. Condolences go out to her family and all of her fans. But listening to it on this album, I actually really like her flow. I like how she raps. I would never have pictured that kind of sound to come out of her. So that's just an example of not judging a book by its cover. Her voice on this track was absolutely beautiful. And I know how much she meant to KEHLANI just from how she was speaking about her and everything that she did after the passing of such a close friend. So for me, Lexi's Outro is going to be a 10 out of 10 because it wasn't expected, but I also think it was a really, really great way to end her album. All in all, guys, the album for me is a 10 out of 10, if you couldn't guess. Okay, we have a few not even bad tracks, just like they're just not tracks that I would listen to 24/7, but they're still good tracks. The only thing that I would do is take out the skits, so maybe really it's like a 9.9, but like basically just round up and it's a 10.10. Yeah, if you haven't listened, please go listen. She deserves all the flowers for this album. I am so happy she made us wait for it because it was stellar. And with any artist, I feel like sometimes they need time to perfect their music and even like protect where they're at. If she wasn't ready to release, good for her. If she feels like now is the perfect time, so do I, because girl, thank you on this Friday for dropping that. Absolutely amazing. I'm still playing it. I wanted to play it for you guys, but you know, YouTube loves to copyright people, so I might just sing a few bars. Let me stop. But still, please go listen to that great masterpiece of an album dropped on this Friday. That's really all I listen to. I told y'all this is what my Friday was gonna be. It was gonna be all about Kehlani, and I was not lying. I have not stopped talking about it since I started listening to it. And next Friday, let's see what we get into in terms of Friday feels. I don't know what other artists are dropping, but I will, of course, be on the lookout for anything great and for more information, more reviews, and more feels that I can bring you guys. Thank you so much for riding it out with me on another Friday. Like, subscribe, comment, turn on your post notifications so you know when I'm uploading, because I've been doing it actually rather consistently. Pat on the back for me, because it's not easy if you didn't know. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. Stay safe, stay warm, stay quarantined, stay at home, and hopefully this will all be over soon, because it was good until it wasn't. See what I did there? And just to end the video, I have a little joke for all of you guys. Follow up with me on Sunday for the answer. But what did the duck say to the comedian? I'll let you guys think about that. Have a great night.